all the way, Pet Levi. Just like he likes it. You like it hardcore, don't you? Okay, introduce us.
Welcome, folks, to Torah Talk. I'm Levi Ben Abraham with Rabbi Rabs. This week's Torah portion is Shemot.
And do a good job with the camera. Every time now that I rant, the camera shows me like off the screen. It's like we look at Levi and he's like looking off at the football game, and Rabs is ranting, but he's so marginalized you can't see both arms. He's off on the corner of the screen. It's like I see how you look, how you view me.
Yeah, that's really.
It's like Rabs ranting, not important. Okay, go ahead.
So, I had something emailed to me today that left me in quite a moral quandary. So, is it good for the Jews to have this full-service Asian ecstasy massage parlor next to Beth Jacob, the biggest Orthodox shul west of the Mississippi? So,
why are we talking about this on this show? What does that got to do with Torah and Judaism? Just because it's in the neighborhood?
It's in the neighborhood.
There's a lot of things in the neighborhood. What does that got to do with Judaism? What does that have to do with our show?
Well, so many Jewish men go for Asian women.
Do you have that for a fact? See, that would be interesting. If you had the client book, the client list, and you could say, well, we don't want to say names, let's say, because it's Lashon Hara, right? But if you could say there's 15 members of Beth Jacob on that list, that might be interesting. If you were to say there's 6 Rabbanim and there's 6 rabbis on that list, that might be interesting. But just to say that there's a massage parlor on a street in
right next to the shul.
So what? So what? How is that at all relevant to Torah talks? Well, people are tuning in, and now we're going to tell them there's a massage parlor in the neighborhood. I mean, what's the point of that?
There are 4.
4 what?
4 massage parlors within walking distance of this neighborhood.
And you know because you've been to them all. Ladies on the client list.
Ladies
on the client list. There's also a strip club.
No, that's like a mile and a half away.
Well, if you have a car, that's 5 minutes.
No, they're like right here on La Cienega, and then there's the one right next to Beth Jacob. Like when I was at UCLA.
There's also 4 houses on La Cienega.
Really, where?
All those hotels. What do you think? Like, who do you think fills the client space in those really decrepit, those god awful hotels, which are like $10 an hour or something? What do you think goes on in there? They pick up hookers and they go into them. That's
I used to see this tall blonde woman walking around the neighborhood who looked like a hooker. Did you see hookers going in and out?
That was my date.
Sorry.
That was my date for the night.
Do you see hookers going in and out of those hotels?
No, but it's obvious. When you see cheap hotels in a neighborhood like this, what do you think goes on in there?
Just people down on their luck, like myself, just trying to.
Right here, in the most expensive area in LA. Thank you. Okay.
Roof on top there. But when I was at UCLA, Reba's Hall, on the special quiet floor, there were 3 Jewish guys who had Asian girlfriends on my floor. So what is it about the Oriental woman that so mystifies and entrances the Jewish guy?
Oh, we talked about that before. Asians are. It's very common in Asian culture. Well, I know like Chinese and Vietnamese. That I don't know so much about Japanese, but in Chinese and Vietnamese culture is very much like Jewish culture.
Yeah.
That there's a very strong family oriented, and you have to they put a lot of guilt on their kids, just like the Jewish parents put a lot of guilt. So naturally, Chinese and Vietnamese, these people will relate with Jewish people because we don't fit in. We don't fit in with, we stick out, we're different, we're not like the standard goyim. And we have like this whole guilt thing going on at home. And so we tend to relate to each other. And there's a natural, we get each other, right?
Yeah.
The question I can't answer is why don't the Jewish women like the Asian guys? Right. Instead, they prefer black guys.
Right.
When you see like some Ashkenazi chick, like she's leaving the fold, right? She's doing the whole secular thing. She doesn't end up with an Asian guy. I never see that.
Yeah.
She always ends up with a black guy.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I'm getting a black guy. But the guys, the Jewish guys, when they go secular, they want an Asian chick, right? Which I get. I don't get the black thing. I don't really get that at all. What do you think about the black thing?
Yeah, I think you're right, but I'm wondering, like, would it affect your davening if you knew there was a whorehouse right next door?
I wouldn't think about it. I know you would be obsessed with it.
I would be.
You would be obsessed about it. I couldn't care less.
You couldn't care less if there was a whorehouse filled with slinky Asian chicks next door, giving, like, full service, giving hand jobs, giving oral, and you're like, I couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less.
There's, like, all sorts of action going on next door, every which way. And you're just like, I couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less.
So how do you think a synagogue should react when there's this whorehouse next door?
Why should they react to what? What do they care?
The whorehouse, like all those...
Are you looking for things to distract you? I mean, what do they care? You go to shul. You know, you go to shul. You have the Torah. You have the davening. Right?
But all I'm thinking about is the whorehouse next door. Maybe I'm on a lower spiritual plane.
This is like a nothing to me. This is like, why are we even talking about it?
Really?
Yeah. I'm serious. Like, why are we wasting people's time talking about this? Let's talk about some Torah.
Okay, so how was Joseph able to promise his father Jacob confidently that he wouldn't be buried in Egypt before he asked permission from Pharaoh?
Let's wait for that one until we get to the Parashat.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, that's not this week's Parashat. All right, go to the next thing.
Man, you don't want to talk about whorehouses. You don't want to talk about last week's Parsha.
I wanted to ask you though about your blog when you wrote about all these this
whorehouse,
this massage parlor.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you: did you actually go over there to do your investigation?
No, I felt like I should, but then I thought,
what kind of journalist writes about something without actually walking over there?
But I thought I'd get sucked into sin. Because I thought, I'll just go over there. Because they offered, like, all sorts of different massage. They offered, like, Swedish massage, reflexology, sports massage, and deep tissue. So it sounds totally legit.
But you could have done, like, some bartering, because you could have gotten a massage and then offered them some free AT.
Yeah.
You could have said, okay, I don't have money for the massage,
but I'll give you an Alexander lesson.
I'll give all of you an Alexander lesson, and then you could take in photos for because I think that would really help you a bit for 90210.
Yeah.
Because we work in these naked women.
Yeah.
That
would have been great, but I felt like if I got over there, I'd start spending money, and then like I'm very weak in that department.
Okay.
So if a woman started touching me, like first they work on your back, you get naked, then you lie on your front, and they like give you a bit of a massage. And then when you're kind of good and ready, they flip you over.
Right.
And then like I would be totally defenseless.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I couldn't stop myself. And
so don't put yourself in a place where you're going to slip.
Yeah, because I've never hired a hooker, and I feared that if I did it once, I'd just be...
Right, and you can't afford... What can you afford?
Yeah, I can't afford hookers.
All you can afford is like, some 80-year-old woman with walker cane.
Right, not even her own teeth. So, on the one hand, I felt like... The other thing I was afraid of is if I went over there and I met the girls, I might like them, and then I wouldn't want to write anything about their whorehouse on my blog, to cause them trouble.
Well, let me ask you this: if it's a whorehouse, why don't the authorities know about it and
I'm sure
shut
they
it
do
down?
now.
Shut it down.
They do now.
They can lose their massage license if there is a such thing.
Yeah, I'm putting the
clamps on them.
Yeah, I'm like standing up for Torah.
You know what though? From what it seems like, it's not right on. It's not like it's right on the street, and it's not like in the window you're seeing anything.
No.
So it's not like people can complain. We're walking with the kids on Shabbos, and they're looking in the windows and stuff like that. That might be a legitimate complaint, but it seems like it's off the though. Who cares? Well, it's got nothing to do with the shul, so it's a non-story in my opinion. And it's not like the only story connection to the show would be is if some rabbis were caught there, or like you went an investigation, you walked in there and like you saw like Rabbi XYZ from like RCC or something, or like you saw like a whole a whole wardrobe. You went into like the closet and there was like all these taluses hanging up. Like that would have been interesting, or like
I thought it was
the
interesting.
last guy left his.
You don't think it's interesting if there's a whorehouse next to a show?
Who cares? No, I don't think so. That's just me. Let the viewers decide.
So I think without divine intervention, the Broncos win maybe 4 games this year.